What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Founder Academy. So this is part 2 of our weekend league. I think it's episode 34. It might actually be 35 because we're going to have to figure out a way to get our weekend league rewards in, which is coming tomorrow morning or today, depending on when you're watching this. I haven't figured out my schedule. I waited a little bit too long to edit this stuff, and now the rewards are going to have to intersplice in there. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to watch some FIFA. So before we jump into all the gameplay, guys, and we start dissecting what's happening, if you guys could leave a like down below if you're enjoying the series, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that follow button. Greatly appreciate you guys helping grow this channel. We've got some decent views, and I want to keep that momentum just building, just snowballing, because I'm really enjoying FIFA. I use that term loosely. I enjoy the concept of FIFA, but it causes me some real frustrations. But anyway, let's jump into the actual gameplay. So our first game that we played was against a fellow Canuck, another Canadian here. He's got those Canadian flags in the crowd there, so we got to, I don't want to say cheer him on because we're playing him, but at the same time, it's always fun playing against the Canadian guys just because, there's some rivalry here. But with that being said, every time that I've come up against somebody who's visibly got like a Canadian team or jersey or flag or whatever, we have a real inferiority complex here in Canada, and there's this level of this competitive nature and this competition factor that comes with us. We do not like to lose. We get very frustrated for the most part, and you will see guys just really be super sweaty. So we are up 3-0 at the half, basically, against this guy. He did not like it. Now, this guy actually wasn't a terrible player by any means, but you can see he's super try-hard. Probably should have done better with that, but we had pretty good possession. We had a really good, equal level playing field, I guess. Both of our teams were playing good, but it was just like this back and forth. But I was just a lot more prolific in front of goal, as you guys will see here. Opportunities quite easy to read. For me, I don't think he was great in the final third, but he was getting so frustrated after that third goal. He really did not like this. He ends up scoring a goal here, and you can see he just runs around like I won't use the term that I really want to use, but he runs around like a stupid idiot, like shushing me when he's 3-1 down. And I've said this a million times, guys, if you're down and you score a goal, don't shush your opponent. Like, I don't think it's really ever wise to shush your opponent. Not because I can't take it. Like, I don't care if you want to run around and shush me, but excuse me, all it's doing is waking a sleeping giant. So for the rest of this game, this idiot didn't even touch the ball. Right? And I'm going to call him an idiot confidently because that was a stupid thing for him to do. And my Alexis Sanchez ends up getting a 90th minute goal because he's ultra attacking. I literally just slowed the game down. No no risky passes, no double taps, no drivens, no lobs, everything just slow on the ground. Let him run around like a stupid moron that he is, and just everything's just really simple. And then get yourself into a high percentage scoring opportunity, smash it into the net. Next thing you know, we're up 4-1. Like, this guy really did not like this. He was getting so frustrated because he had every trick in the book on. He had constant pressure, team press, ultra attacking. Like, he was just spammy all over the field, and it just did not work, right? Because the only way to counteract that is to just slow the game down and let it work against him, right? Use it against him. I guess that's what we're saying. So call me your dad. Yeah, he didn't like it, and we definitely did. We called him, call me your dad. Call me your dad. No, I guess I'm your dad. I don't know, whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. We killed him. So yeah, that was our first win. So we're 8-1. We are going to come up against better opponents, and this was a perfect example of that. Now, our first loss was in our first part of this weekend league run, which was in our last video you guys saw, where we ended up losing 4-3. That was fine. I had no problem losing that game. This game, like, I know you guys hate when I use this term, but this was just handicap at its finest, right? Like, I don't know what caused this. I don't know if this was a connectivity issue, but this entire game, I couldn't explain what was going on, but I just couldn't control my players. Like, look at that, Eder Militao, no tackle. Like, it's not even about me controlling them. It's just my players were playing like crap. Like, simple stuff, simple passes. Like, look at how underhit the passes are. They bobble, they bounce up. I was actually very thankful that I was able to create a goal here, but you can see my Frankie de Jong tried his hardest to run into my space and take my space away, and he ends up falling over the keeper. Simple pass here. That's just a ground pass to Maradona. For some reason, it just goes way too far. It wasn't overhit. It was a simple ground pass. But like, look at how crisp and pure his passes are. Everything is just to feet, and it's just very accurate. My guys, the ball is bobbling. You saw it, right? That turnover, that bad pass was straight to Maradona, but Maradona didn't lock on, and he's running, and the ball's bouncing, and then it comes to the defender. He runs into the defender, and the defender comes away with it. Next thing you know, he comes downfield, gets the ball into the top of the box, turns, and just on a wrap pass, passes it through 2 defenders, right? It runs through 2 defenders. And next thing you know, he's through on goal, and he's up 2-1. Then when he is like, look at, like, what in the hell is that? That's just a simple pass to Maradona. But again, they run into each other's way, and the ball bounces off Maradona. But like, look at the magnet ball here, right? Like, even the biggest handicap deniers, I want you to explain that to me, because that's not RNG. That is not RNG. That is the scripting of the game that's basically saying that my sliders have dropped to the point that my players are stupid. Like, that's all it is. I want that ball up to Frankie de Jong instead of goes to Aguero, and by this point, Frankie de Jong's double-timed it into an offside position, or in a position where the keeper has just comes out and smothers it. Look at this goal. Okay, I'm going to play this goal again because I want you guys to watch what happens here. Now, the keeper comes out. I'm covering the passing lane because this guy wants to sweat it. Now, because I'm covering the passing lane so well, because I know he wants to sweat it, he panics and just hits shoot at full speed. Watch what my keeper does. He doesn't come out and stay big. He doesn't come out and put a foot out or slide tackle. Watch him dive out of the way. Now, that should have been punished, right? All my keeper needs to do is just come out and literally be in front of him. Instead, he literally dove this way, out of the way, so he scored a goal. Like, that is unacceptable, because that is the gameplay dropping all my sliders. Like, we're down 4-1. And with all due respect to this guy, he's got some very good players. His Rio Ferdinand causing me problems. He's got Edwin van der Sar, so don't get me wrong. This guy's not a bad player. But, like, look at that. I rounded his defender, and when it put me in a position where I should have been through, he bodies my player off, knocks him out of position, no foul, nothing. Like, he's just dispossessing my players that are playing really stupid very easily. None of my guys are locking in. They're not intercepting anything. They're not locking into tackles. They're just bodies that are just there doing this, right? The ball's here, and they're just doing this. And all he does is just hit pass, 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 and then through ball. None of my guys identify it, and he just runs downfield and smashes it near post. Like, even there, like, this is just countless example after example. And this is not sour grapes. This is not me just saying, I lost, it's got to be handicapped. This is proof right here of what happens when the game is working against you. Now, I couldn't tell you why, but, like, I just had no control over my team. Like, every pass I'm making is just heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Now, here's another good example. Alex Telles turns, plays it to Maradona. Watch Aguero run into Maradona, take away his space, and then him and Alex Telles literally run in a straight line. And the reason it's doing that is because it makes it easier for the computer to cover that run. And if you want to play a ball to him, you'll play it, but the computer will intercept it because he's running in a straight line. Instead of them running on angles, so you've got a lot of space, they'll run into each other's space and then run in a straight line. So if you try to play a through ball, you'll play it right into the defender. Like, it's so basic, and it happens all the time. And I couldn't tell you why. Like, even here, normally I would have just rounded the keeper and then just passed it into the net. But my Maradona had no acceleration. Like, he didn't accelerate there. And even though he just sprinted his, like, Van der Sar out, the guy just came and took it. I want the ball up there to Alex Telles, who's streaking. Instead, it plays it to my players offside. An underhit pass to Sergio Aguero. Fake shot, heavy touch. Just easily dispossessed. And then just, like, watch as I'm killing myself. But look at the magnet ball. Right? This guy's making some really, really poor passes right up the middle. These should be punished, but look at how easy it is for him to just dispossess me. Right? He'll come into spaces. I'm trying to be elusive. right? He's just running guys out of position, but they're just swarming me. And my guys won't intercept anything. Like, De Jong's got like 90 plus interceptions. He literally passed right through him, right? Whereas this guy's just coming right down the field. This is very easy. I don't know what Mendy was doing there. Mendy, all he had to do was stay with his man. Instead, he runs towards the ball and tries to jump head it when the ball's in the air. So he left the guy wide open. Simple pass there to Maradona. Can't complete that, right? My players are just behind. They're not locking in. They're slow. They're doing that jog run, so it's slowing their speed down. Like, even here, watch this. Like, just, even though I read that, look at the magnet ball. Right? So this is not an excuse. This is the gameplay. And I want someone to explain, like, even the biggest handicap deniers. Look at this guy running his defenders out of position. I should be through. This should be a clear-cut goal with Aguero. No. Look, Van der Sar, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But, like, look at how hard you have to work to, like, get this. And the only reason I scored this is because it's the last minute. It's essentially a 90th minute goal. I think after about, like, 87th, 88th minute, that's when the sliders start to drop defensively, and that's when you get your 90th minute cheese. So that's the only reason I scored a second goal. But 6-2, right? Like, you can look at that. Aguero just flies offside. Another thing, you're going to hit posts. Your players are going to run offside. They're going to take those heavy touches because it wants you to play it to them in an offside position. But, like, look, the guy, I have it on, like, high pressure, like, team press, and my guys are just not intercepting anything. He's passing through traffic in the middle that should be punished. Instead, it's running, and my players are just not identifying it, and he's passing these balls that will just go through all my players. It's like they've got no brain, right? So it was just so frustrating because, like, that's a game where I can't do anything. I couldn't do anything. So anyway, it is what it is, but, like, that's what I'm talking about this game being so frustrating to the point that you rage because you have no control. Like, imagine that was the game that we're playing to get elite or to finish top 100 or to get a 30-0, right? And that crap happens, right? They have to get rid of it. Like, that's unacceptable to me. Like, completely inexcusable how that can be in a game. Like, I had no control, and you just saw countless. Like, I don't even know how many clips there were. And I'm not doctoring this footage. I'm not editing in a manner that it makes it look that way. That's the game. You guys saw the whole game. You see the things that happen for me and against me. And there's going to be instances where I'm going to show you guys how this affects me from a positive standpoint as well, right? Like, when I get wins out of this. So anyway, we come up against this guy. I've said this a million times too. One loss, I'm not super worried about it. Your team's still very playable. But when this guy got a red card, I knew exactly what was going to happen here. So red cards, basically what happens with reds is your team, like, your team actually gets worse in front of goal. So your team gets worse and your opponent's defenders become superhuman. So you actually get hurt by it. So this guy actually went 2 down after his red card. And I thought, okay, you know what? I was able to kind of break out of this curse. But, like, when you get reds, the defense become superhuman, right? And your offense becomes terrible. Like, there's a perfect opportunity, perfect example. You're just going to see countless opportunities here where Aguero's through, under hits the shot. You want to blame me for under powering it? Be my guest. But I'm through on goal countless times, right? All I need is a slip pass there from Maradona to get it to Ousmane Dembele. Can't finish it. Another one. Aguero. Hold your run. But no, it waits until he's just offside to actually play the ball, right? And then he finally gets an opportunity. I wouldn't even call this an opportunity. Like, look at that. Makes a stupid pass. It bounces off of my guys. Then he plays this ridiculous underhit pass. Nobody identifies to it except for his striker. I was trying so hard to get Toni Kroos to get over there so he could go make the tackle. Like, literally, the ball just sat in my area. I've never seen that before in my life. He underhit that pass so much, and it was just sitting there, and the only player that identified it was his attacker who was coming in off the wing, then Dembele or whatever. Literally, the only guy. Everyone else was just doing this. Like, it is just enraging. So anyway, at this point, I'm just like, I knew what was going to happen. I'm like, this guy's going to get back into this game, but I just need to keep the ball away from him, or I need to score, right? I can just hold on and try to just hold on for the win, but there's a lot of time on the clock here. So I really desperately need to score because this guy's going to get a goal. The game is going to give this guy a goal, not because it automatically gives him a goal, but it's going to give him very high percentage chances. Like, watch this pass. Look at that. Like, what in the hell is that? Explain how that's RNG to me. That was a pass out wide. Like, that's what happens, right? Like, look at my players running away. They're all stupid. They're not going to lock into anything. Have a chance to tackle here. He just bounces off of it. Nice little drag back, but my defenders are on skates. Thankfully, he just screwed that up royally. But yeah, as you guys can see here, like, no blocks, no interceptions, everything. All he has to do is hit pass, and it's just going to seeing eye its way. It's through all my players. I'm having to kill myself. Like, look at it. Look at his players. They're just ball hawks, right? I'm not going to be able to break out of this funk unless I can score a goal. But it's slowing my players down. It's slowing my passes down. It's making my team dumb. They're all running in and closing the space. Like, look at how narrow they are, right? I need to separate them to get them away from each other. But I don't want to separate them too much from a tactical standpoint because then it's going to leave the middle of the field too open. Like, I need it defensively to be very narrow, but offensively I need them to spread out because they're running and taking away room from each other. Now, another opportunity where I thought I had Tony Cruz through. All I wanted to do was slip a little ball, but Tony Cruz runs away from it, causing the ball to get given away. Like, look at this guy's passes. Look at that. Like, I'm thankful that this guy, like, look at, and then a ragdoll. How many times have I talked about ragdolling? This is the gameplay, right? This is not me. This is not you. This is not the player. This is not a human error. This is gameplay, right? This is what happens when you get red carded or when your opponent gets red carded. Look at how easy this is. Look at that. Should have intercepted about 2 or 3 times. Just dispossessed the guy. Instead, just 2 passes. Literally no skill. He literally just hit pass. He's not even looking to where he's passing. He's got his back towards goal, and he hook passes it through both of my guys, and then just hits pass, and shot. Right? Like, I'm killing myself. Another ragdoll, right? I'm killing myself just to keep my players under control. And then that happens. Like, I had no control of my team at this point. Like, absolutely none. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous what we just witnessed. The ball comes in, he just heads it. None of my players react to it, and it bounces to maybe the worst possible angle to take a shot from. And his Vidal fires it across goal into the top corner, past the team of the season, right? Now, I'm creating an opportunity where I drew both of his defenders, cut back, and then I just need a simple little ball in behind. But my player underhits it, and my Aguero has to come back to collect it. So it gives time for the defender to come steal the ball. Then he just gets it and can pass it out. Like, this was just over and over and over. That's the red card. That's the effect that red cards have. And that's not the only example of it. I'm going to show you guys another example later on in this video. You guys can say I'm crazy and that I'm making up excuses, but this is habitual. This is what red cards do. Okay? Red cards hurt you when your opponent gets them. And I'm going to show you guys, if you haven't seen enough examples of this already, you're going to see another one later on in the game. It's not this goal, or it's not this game, but just in this game in general, like, or in this weekend league run, there was a couple times where my opponents took reds and it helped their team get better. Like, absolute insanity how that's possible. It's absolutely ridiculous. And people that want to deny it, they can deny it all they want, but it's just nonsense to me. So anyway, I took the team offline at this point. They still weren't fantastic. You know, there's a really good example of them just not reading into anything. But, you know, I took them offline to play 2 games. You can see off the knee bounce there. That was still a little silly. But my team's at a point now where at least they're playable again. They might not... Look at that, man. What is going on? Oh, no, yeah, sorry. I did not take them offline. Yeah, I was thinking this was a game where I was actually playing well. This was after... this was after that loss. They were only playable to a certain extent, but this game I just had no control. Absolutely no control of them at all. Like, this was crazy. If you guys watch, like, this was my team just getting moraled, right? Like, you can just see. Like the bounces, the touches that they're going to take. Like this was an entire game of this. So I knew that after this I was going to have to take them offline in order to get them playable again. But like this entire game, there's an opportunity for me. The guy had the exact same chance where he just buried it. My player under hits the shot. But like watch this. Like what? Like look at how easy it is. There's no tackles being put in. Like my players won't identify. And I want you to watch the defenders. Countless times where I've got guys with like Sergio Ramos, who's got like 99 aggression. He normally jumps in and puts in a tackle, but watch the defenders. They will just stand in front, and there's no attempt made to dispossess the ball. It's like having guys on ice skates that are trying to defend someone who's on cleats, right? Like you can't stop it. They overcompensate one way or another. Like look at that. Not even an attempt to block the shot or block the pass. And it's not even a creative pass, right? Like his players are making perfect runs, but my players, regardless of whether they're in the lane, it'll go through their legs, it'll go just past them. Your players get dumb, right? Like look at that. Overcompensating one way, but the pass will go right past them. Like they don't even stick out a foot. They don't try to intercept it. That's the game, right? It's the gameplay's coding. So, you know, this was one of those games that by the time it was 3-0, you can see the ball just bouncing off of my players' feet. Just intercepted. Like look at that jump interception. I read this perfectly. Come away with the ball here. I want this ball in behind. Look at that. Doesn't even lock in. And you see the run that De Jong's making. Like I had no chance here. Like this game, the entire game, like here, I'm killing myself to even create space. And his player just bounces off of his player. Like I had no chance. Like no chance. Even there, like, look at how smooth that turn is, right? My players just running around like chickens with their heads cut off because I can't control it. Heavy, heavy touches by Dybala. Easily dispossessed. Falls off his tracks. You know, you just had no control. This guy, pass. 4-0. Like, literally, no thought, just pass forward. Just pass. He's just holding forward and hitting X, right? And it just finds its way. My players aren't intercepting anything, and I'm sorry. That's not me discrediting this guy. It's not hating on this player. I'm hating on the game, right? Like I'm not mad at this guy for playing the way he plays, but he's not a good player if he's just hitting pass forward. He's good enough to know to hit pass forward, I guess, but passing just forward blindly shouldn't reward you with a clear-cut opportunity like that. It should be intercepted at some point, right? He's just one-time hitting pass, regardless of whether he's looking, regardless of whether his player's back to goal. He's literally just hitting pass forward, and you can't stop it, right? Like, look at how much room that this Carvajal covers. He slide tackles, and like, look at this. Every pass that I'm getting is under hit, so it's causing them to close the space down, and his defender's covering the passing over and over. Like I couldn't even stop it. Like I had to kill myself to create that goal. Absolutely kill myself. Like very, very high percentage passes, right? Straight to feet. No driven because the ball will bounce up. No lobs because the ball will bounce. No double tap because the ball will bounce. And you just need everything simple to feet. And even there, like they don't attack the ball. This guy will just lob it down. There you go, right? If he was a better player, he would have just taken that down and finessed it into the corner, right? Like, I'm not playing against the world's greatest opponent. It's just I can't do anything. Like, look at that. Maradona. Like, look at these. I have no chance. And he passes right past Maradona. No thought put into that pass at all. Literally puts it right through the middle. Instead of being punished for that, look at his players ball hawk me. And just dispossess and easily pass it out. Just walks it up the field. Right? No interceptions. Like, I couldn't even doctor this stuff if I wanted. Look at the perfect turn. And gets a shot away. Like, this is not me complaining that I'm losing. This is me complaining that the game gave me no chance, right? Like, I was playing at such a handicap here. Like, look at that. Just dumps in a thoughtless cross. Bounces perfectly off his Dembele right to Messi. None of my defenders identify it. None of them head it out. They all just move out of the way, and Messi gets another clear-cut chance in on goal. And, like, look, I don't know if this guy's a good player. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I couldn't even tell you because I didn't have the opportunity to play him. I'm playing with a team that had no control. I didn't have control of the ball. I didn't have control defensively. At the very least, it's DDA. to the point now that my team's so unplayable at this point that I can't even get out of it. And if you just want to say that I'm a whiny baby, be my guest. But like, look, here's the proof, man. You guys make up your own mind. You just want to say that I'm just making excuses. Go ahead. I've never acted like I don't not like winning, right? Like I don't like losing, but I just want someone, even the biggest handicap deniers, to explain that stuff to me. Like explain how that's possible, right? Like I'm coming up against some good teams and some good players, and when my team's playing fine, 3-2, 4-2, I might lose. But like 6-1, 6-2, 5-1, like against very average players. He didn't even have to do anything. Go back and watch it. He didn't even try to be elusive. He literally just hit pass up the field, and my players won't identify. They won't lock in. Like, explain that to me. That's not RNG, guys. That's not. I'm so sick of people saying it's RNG. It's random. Like, if that's random, there's no reason that should be that random, because that is insane. That's insanity to me, and it makes it unplayable. So I took my team offline, and you can see what a difference they are. Like, look at how much crisper the passes are. Like, that was my fault because I played the player offside. But the first goal, right? Like, everything to Maradona's feet. Nice little turn, finesse into the net. Passes, crisp. They hit the pass and move. L1 pass, they shoot into space. Nothing's offside. Those two players, Aguero and Maradona, very, very good players. Then the guy ends up DNFing, excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But, when they're playing well, everything's crisp and sharp, and it's feet. It's right to feet, and they shoot into space. They've got such high dribbling and high technical abilities with their passing and their dribbling and their offensive awareness. Even if it doesn't result in a goal, you can just see it. You can just see the passes crisp and sharp. Those other games, bouncing off of them, jumping up to collect it, no runs, they're running offside. Like, that's not DDF, or that's not RNG, sorry. It's not RNG. Like, people need to wake up and realize that it's not RNG that causes that stuff. Anyway, so we end up winning that last game 1-0. The guy ended up DNFing. And then we come up against this guy. We go up 1-0. My team's playing good. Like, you guys can just see. Watch this gameplay, right? Like, my team's playing well. Everything's sharp. They're reading it. Like, look at that. Opportunity there, but that was just me under hitting it, and then I was on a bad angle. I probably should have taken a touch there with Dybala. Dybala's not a great finisher. I wouldn't have expected him to put that away. But, like, watch just even simple things, like the tackles. They come in, but at least they're putting the guy under pressure. They don't feel like they're on ice skates, right? Simple little touches, right? Everything's crisp into feet. Now, I should have probably put that ball away, but look, I'm not going to score every single thing. But here, nice little pass inside. One little touch, bang into the net. Simple, right? It's not that complicated a game. This guy had no offense. None, right? Like, everything I'm doing is just, like, sharp and crisp, and I actually probably should have scored again here. Fake shot, cut inside, and then shoot, but I got a little trigger happy. I thought I had another one here. He plays it to Maradona. I waited out as Aguero. Should have just smashed it near post. I don't know what I was doing. I waited till the guy was in a terrible position, tried to tramp it. I just got a little excited, overthought it. But anyway, he ends up getting a red. Like, this guy's on the ropes. And what did I tell you guys about reds? Watch his team change. Watch my players get dumb, and watch his team become superhuman. Even there, almost immediately, my player runs into an offside position. Like, it didn't take long at all, right? Another chance where I want the ball through. But no, I see that he's going to run offside, but I can't get away from him. His players, look at them. They're superhuman. They're flying around. They're just dispossessing, knocking my players off the ball. He's sliding around like a goof, but like look at how aggressive his defense is compared to what they were, and look at how dumb my players are now. Now those crisp, sharp passes that I was getting before, look at players falling all over the place now. Like, this is not a coincidence. This is look at that, right through traffic, through four guys, facing away from goal, and he smashes it across body near post against a team of the season keeper in the 45th minute. Like, the sway in the DDA went like this. If it was like this, it went right through the roof. Now I can't even barely get passes away. I'm having to kill myself to keep everything. But watch the opportunities that Aguero gets. Okay, I'm through. The first touch, fine. Second touch, I'll take blame for that one. But I still think it was too heavy a touch because of what was going on. Another opportunity, look at this one. 10 times out of 10, Aguero buries that. It's right through in front of goal. Perfect bouncing ball. The volleys are overpowered this year. Should have put that away. Watch this one. Aguero, again, cuts inside, finesse. Like, my player's ability fell through the floor. And even though I was creating opportunities, I need them to score. But, like, look at that. Simple pass, right inside. None of my players intercept it. None of it read it. One touch, he's through. And next thing you know, we're at 2-2. At this point, the DDA was so far in the other direction that I had no chance here. Like, simple stuff like that, never going to work. I have no chance here. I just have to hope that I can hold on and score a fluky goal. Like, here I was exposed because I drew my wing back out. Even when I tried to foul him from behind, he couldn't even foul properly. Well, look at this. Look at how tight I'm killing myself to try to get control of any player and just get in his way. He was always going to score. Like, this guy's a man down. I totally owned him. And then as soon as he gets a red, my team fell through the floor. Like, look at how far offside Ronaldo was there. Watch my players running offside countless times. Finally get a chance in the 90th minute. Team of the year Ronaldo? Of course not. Rebound? Empty net? Of course not. So, look, at this point, easily dispossessed. Passes it right through my player. No interception. Right? Like, this guy did not deserve the win, but the game gave it to him because he got a red. It just shifted the DDA so far against me that I had no chance by the end of it. Right? So it hurt me to get a red. And that's not an excuse, guys. That's not an excuse. Even if the result was different, just watch the gameplay. I beg you guys, watch the gameplay and believe what I'm saying happens to you. If your opponent gets a red, you're going to see a shift. Just a swing, a wild swing in DDA that you cannot prevent. Like, it's absolutely insane. Right? Like, you can't stop it. It just becomes so crazy that you can't do anything about it. So anyway, my team is still at an unplayable state, right? But I only took that one loss. So I'm so frustrated. I don't want to take them offline because I don't want to sit there playing 2 more games against the computer to try to get them in a playable state. So I just jumped in. Hopefully I'm playing against a guy who's getting the same thing against him. And I couldn't tell you what this guy's team was playing like, but I can tell you that my team was playing very bizarre. Like, the button lag there because I tried to put in a tackle and then just lobbed it. It actually ended up almost working out. But yeah, like, they're not going to finish these opportunities, right? Like, my team's basically playing with a handicap against it. I don't know what happened there, a foul. So you're just going to see the way my team plays, right? Like, look at this. Magnet ball here, he just bounces off of my player. Read it, bounces off of Aguero, or bounces off of Ramos, and conveniently magnet balls back to him, right? Coincidence? Not a coincidence, right? So, again, people think I'm just pushing my own agenda, but, like, I'm not doctoring this footage, right? Like, the proof is there. Lose and your team plays worse. Get a red card, the DDA swings, right? Like, these are things that happen for you and against you. They happen to you. You can just deny it all you want, but, like, look, they're happening for you and against you, right? But anyway, this guy that I was playing, I was very thankful that he was not a better opponent for a simple reason, right? If he was a better opponent, he would have been able to take advantage of that. Like, you guys will see some of the chances that he's getting. Like, here, I have to do my patented, like, move the keeper and get a second man on the line, have to cover that, because if not, he's going to rocket the ball in. And if he went 2-3-0 up, my team would fall through the floor to the point that I would never have had the chance to get back into it. But I'm very thankful that this guy, I'm sorry if he ever sees this, but he wasn't good enough to take advantage of what was going on. My team's still okay, but, like, there, right? Not only does Aguero take heavy touches so the keeper comes out and smothers it, smashes it into the keeper, but then falls over him, so now he's out of the play. So I want you to see what I'm talking about here. So I pause this clip here. When Maradona, I'm going to cut inside. When Maradona gets to the point where I can slip a pass through, both Aguero and Dybala twice are going to jump into offside positions. Now here's the play. Boom, he jumps into an offside position. Then Dybala, boom, jumps into an offside position. Now, the reason that I wanted to show you guys that is that's what happened when when the DDA is working against you. When your team gets handicapped, when they're getting moraled, whatever you want to say. That's what happens when the game's DDA starts working against you. When it sees that you're in a high percentage scoring opportunity, it's going to shoot its guys, or shoot your players, into offside positions because it wants you to play. It's tempting you to play it. When you lose, when you feel like the game's just working against you, watch how many more offsides you're going to get. That is not an accident. That is not random. That is a fact. They are going to be offside a hell of a lot more. Like, you guys can see the quality of my opponent. A better player, just run and smash that. He's up 2-0. I'm not coming back. Like, my player is not really identifying opportunities here. The game's just really working against me, right? Like, look at that. Dives out of the way. Auto skips past my 2 defenders and then gets a shot away. He really, really, really should have been up about 3-4-0, but he didn't know how to bury these opportunities, right? Under-hit pass, but I was able to get away from it a little bit. That was my mistake with Alexis, but I was just overthinking it because his defenders were running me down like hawks. His defender there holds up my Aguero. I didn't have the opportunity to play the ball in, but watch how systematic my passes are. I'm just avoiding him. I'm just staying the hell away from him. Everything that I'm doing is super high percentage. No driven, no skip passes, no lob passes, everything, no sprint. Everything is just at walking pace and very high percentage passing, right? Pass to feet, because that's the only way for your players to not give up the ball. You try to run at the defender, they're going to take heavy touches and get dispossessed. You skip past it, the ball's going to bounce up, and then the defender's going to run through. You lob pass it, it's going to go too far or it's going to be too high, and your player won't be able to collect the ball. And then if you drive it to feet, it's going to bounce up and your player's going to have to stand there collecting it. And the reason it does all this stuff, the reason that it makes the ball skip, is because it takes your player away from being able to do it with momentum, and it gives the computer defenders an opportunity to get back in a position. That's why it's doing that. It's slowing the flow of the ball down because it wants the defenders to close you down and take the ball. Now, I end up scoring to make it 1-1 in a goal that I was very proud of, because I had to fight the game, and I won despite of the game, not because of it, right? The game was trying its hardest to give this guy opportunities to score, but he wasn't good enough to take advantage of it. And I'm sorry, that's not a knock against him. I mean, it's a bit of a knock against him, but it's not an insult to him. It's just a lot of players don't understand how to identify that. Now, you as a viewer, that's something that you need to identify. If you're watching anything from this series, you need to realize that's what happens, is when the team is working against you, you need to just slow everything down, and nothing is done at speed. Nothing's done with driven passes, because the ball is going to be too tough for you to control. You're having to fight the game while still at the same time maintain possession. Everything simple along the ground. And then that last goal, I only scored because it was the 90th minute, right? I did a fake shot, bounce off of his defender. The momentum, is in my favor, and something on my lip. And the momentum's in my favor, and I just smashed near post. At that moment, I just went ultra attacking and just held on for dear life. And that's it. And I was more proud of that win than any other win that you're going to see, because I beat the game when it was trying to fight me, right? It was trying to work against me, and I was able to, like, I don't want to say outsmart it, because look, it required my opponent to be a little bit weaker than normally he might have been, but it was so much more rewarding because I knew that I was fighting the game and my opponent. I had to beat both of them, and that's so frustrating. Anyway, so we come up against this final opponent. This is the example that I was talking about earlier, where my opponent was getting handicapped. Now, if you watch, none of his defenders are locking in anything. They're overcompensating. They're on ice skates. Watch this save. Keeper doesn't come down and make a save. He just does one of these, and I just shot it off of him, right? But my Ousmane Dembele goal just magnet balls back to me. There's a fake shot. Ball bounces off of his player, magnet balls right back to me, right? Like, I'm trying to be elusive here, but at the same time, like, this guy has no chance, right? He's in a very high percentage scoring opportunity. Post. What have I told you guys about hitting post when your team's getting handicapped? They'll hit post, they'll run offside, right? He's right in front of net, smashes it straight up into the air and off the post, and then not only that, but he doesn't even get the rebound. My players are the only ones that identified that, and I turn up field and I'm away, right? Like, this was one of those games where I could feel everything that I did. Like, look at the possession, 63% possession. Now, I'm a possession player, but, like, look at his passes. Now, that's a mistake on my part. That's a Ronaldinho there. But, like, look at that shot. Team of the Year Ronaldo, right? He's got Team of the Year Ronaldo and Team of the Year Mbappe, which is incredible in itself that he's that lucky. But, like, just watch the passing, right? Everything I'm doing crisp to feet. These passes would not have worked against some of these other opponents that I was playing, right? So, anyway, he ends up scoring a goal because he just goes near post. Smart goal, but that's 99 Ronaldo. I expect him to finish that. But even then, he fell over after, right? He ragdolled and fell over after. He takes it off balance. But like, watch these passes, right? No interceptions from his part. I literally just pass. No resistance, and I just walked right through his team, right? As proud as I am that those passes, I tried to be smart with them and made sure that I wasn't getting red. Like, he didn't put up any resistance. Like, look at his defenders. They're not locking into anything. They're not putting in tackles. They're behind the play. He had a chance to run and intercept that pass because it was actually kind of a lazy pass. But Cruz just steps on the inside, kind of auto shifts towards the inside, and then I just smash it into the top corner. Like, this guy had no chance that entire game. That game was working against him. So, look, it happens for you. It happens against you. But there's too much randomness to this. But that is going to be the end of the episode, guys. I hope you put up with my ranting and raving. But this is just a sign of what's to come in episode 3. I'm sorry if you guys don't like it, but that's the reality of what we're facing. But that is going to be the end of the episode. I appreciate you guys watching. And until episode 3 or part 3, take care. Peace.